Hello, everybody. My name is Ira Bowman, and you are with me this Monday afternoon. It's October 5th, everybody. It's October 5th, and some of you are out there looking for a job, and you have questions, and what's cool is I'm here to answer them for free. What can you ask me about? Anything job search related. So first thing I say, if you're there in the audience as we're building this thing up, let me know you're there. So tell me you're there, say hello, and then also tell us where you're from. So we've got Prince already. Good afternoon, Prince. Where are you coming from? Let us know where you're at. I'm always trying to figure out these times of my shows because I know that in the West Coast, which is where I live, it's not always convenient for the audience to meet. So I try to mix up my start times. And this is right at lunchtime here in California. It is noon. So it's 12 o'clock in the PM. It just turned lunchtime, basically. And I ate my lunch early so that I could be with you. And I'm glad you can't smell my breath because right now I'm sure it doesn't smell that great. In full honesty. So hello, Sabrina. Welcome to the show. I'm actually excited. Sabrina had asked me if I could give her a recommendation and for a job that she's applied to, and I did. And I filled out that information and I turned it in. So hopefully that helps you, Sabrina. I appreciate the opportunity to refer you because I think you're a superstar in the making, and somebody's going to be very, very lucky to have you. Okay, is that Onche or Onse, or how do you say that? Did I get it right the first time? Onch, maybe? Anyways, welcome from Nigeria. And let me know what time it is there, too. From New Zealand, it's 8 a.m. on Tuesday. Yeah, so it's still Monday here. It's Monday at lunch. But I know that New Zealand, Australia, you guys are really close to me just a day ahead because of the way the time zones work out. Can you please guide me with the best path to getting a data scientist job? Yeah, we could talk about that for sure. So the first thing that you have to do for data science, right, or any job really, is understand what the qualifications are for the job, and do you or do you not already have them? Because if you do, then it becomes pretty straightforward. The number one thing that I would say is get yourself some informational interviews lined up with people who are doing the work that you want to do. Ask them for advice like, hey, if you were in my shoes starting over or starting from where I am, what would you do to land the type of work that I want to do that you're currently doing? So if you're not familiar with this idea of informational interview, I want you to go to projecthelpyougrow.com. It's right above my head, right, in the show headline there, right? So look at the banner. Go ahead and go to that website. Excuse me. Go to the blog and look for the article. It's called The Power of the Informational Interview. Again, it's free. You don't have to have an account. There's no ads, nothing like that. It's just a free source. It's my website. I own it, so you don't have to worry about, getting spammed from anybody or whatever. Just go there, and that'll help you. If you have a specific question that doesn't address, then go ahead and put it down in the show. Mondays tend to be a little bit slower as far as comments go, so I can get a little bit more in depth. If you have some harder things, it's not fast and furious like the Saturday shows are. Sam, I could use a breath mint. And I promise I brushed my teeth today. I flossed and I brushed. I didn't use any soap or mouthwash or anything like that, but I did floss and brush. But then I'm drinking coffee and I had milk with my lunch. So I think that's what's the culprit today. So anyways, I'm glad you guys can't smell my breath. It's probably not good. Well, that's good. Where in the USA were you at? And are you coming back? Or I got a lot of people who watch the show from Nigeria. In fact, they use the website from Nigeria and West Africa. So I'm always looking for ways to help people in West Africa. I'll tell you, one of the hardest things, and you probably know this because you're there, the way the hiring is done in West Africa is a little bit different than most parts of the world. You almost have to know somebody in West Africa. A lot of the jobs are referral based. So what I advise my my audience in West Africa is to focus on the networking, and I teach people how to do that. Look, that's how I built my following of 200,000 people, was by learning how to do this networking. And it's always funny to me when people go, "Why do I want to take the time to build a social media network?" If you don't even know how to answer that question, it's so you're so far behind, you don't even know what the advantage of having it is. But in places like West Africa, I'm telling you, who you know is more important than what you know. You have to know how to do the job to get hired for it, of course. But if you could know everything, you could have all the experience and still not get hired if you don't have referrals. You've got to have connections. So Turkey, I've never been to the Middle East, but I really want to go. I'm almost thinking that that's the number one part of the world that I want to go visit. I am a Christian, so for me, I want to go to Israel and check out Jerusalem and the surrounding areas. But also, I want to go to Dubai. I really would love to go to Egypt and see the pyramids. I mean, there's a lot of stuff right there in that part of the world. I mean, it's the bread. It's the heart of the world, in my opinion, right? So now, of course, there's Africa too. And I'd love to go to Africa. I've never been. I've never been to Europe. Lots of places I haven't been. I've basically been kind of up and down North America and part of Central America. So I've been to Canada. I've been to Mexico. I've been to some of the Central America regions, and I've been to like the Caribbeans. So that's kind of the regions that I've been to, in full disclosure. But I want to go see the rest of the world. I really do. One of the cool things about being who I am on LinkedIn is I have a global network. I have a global following, and I've got to meet so many cool people online that I would love to go visit someday. And India is another place I really need to go. In fact, I have a goal to get to India by the end of next year. I might have to push that back because of everything that's happened with 2020. So it might have to push back to 2022. But I want to get there in the next couple of years without excuse or exception. I'm going to make a plan for it. So we'll see how that goes. Serving notice period now, but new offer I got is before release date. What should be done? Communicate. Communication would be the very best thing. You can go and communicate on both ends. So you're giving notice. You've already got another job lined up, right? You can go to the current employer and say, hey, look, I know that you, and I'm going to presume that you need to give that full notice period because I know that that's like that in certain parts of the world. In the United States, actually, it's not that big a deal. But in other parts of the world, it's more serious. So if that's the case, you have to honor it. Go and ask them for forgiveness. Like, hey, is it possible that, even though I'm giving you 30 days or 2 weeks, that you could let me out early if you don't really need me because I need to start the job. The other thing with the other job, say, look, I just put in my notice and technically I'm not free until fill in the blank date. Is it possible we could push the start date back? It might be a non-issue. It might be a non-issue for your employer. So that's where I would start first. And if it is an issue for them, they're like, nah, we're going to make you stick to it. Then I'd go to the new company. So the order of operations would be to ask, but to ask current company first that you're leaving, because honestly, who cares at that point? And, if you can't work it out with them, then go to the new employer and ask for forgiveness. You're going to have to get somebody to bend. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go to India. Like I said, that's actually the place I want to go first. So, Zimbabwe, very good. Cephas, how are you doing? Let's see. I am also from India. Yeah, so in India, I think that's one of the places where the notice period is important, right? Like you can't get out of it, basically. So you're gonna have to ask them to bend for you. Welcome. See, we get a lot of people from Nigeria and from West Africa and also from India, which, right now for you guys in India, it is 12:45 in the morning on Tuesday. So I really appreciate you being on. You're up and you're on. I really appreciate that. I do some other shows throughout the week that are more convenient for you time-wise. Like this show I do on Saturdays as well. I do them at 9 a.m. my time, which is 9:30 p.m. in India. That's a little bit better for most of you. So that's one of the reasons why I do that, because I have a large audience in India. I'm very fond of India personally, right? Like I want to go there. I've been offered to go. I've had a few companies actually offer to sponsor me on a trip, on a speaking tour, if you will. I haven't taken them up on it because I don't want to be obligated to, right, be their spokesman or whatever the strings would be, because nothing in life is free, right? But anyways, okay, so we are away and going. Do you have a job search question for me? You want to know about the CV? You want to know about your resume? You want to know strategy on interviews or how to negotiate salaries, getting the informational interviews, whatever you might need? Go ahead and drop those in the comments. Look, we have a very small audience, which is totally fine. I don't do this for numbers. I do this to help people. So if you have a specific question and you haven't been able to get through to me, you have my undivided attention right now. Now, I am putting on a blog post on Project Help You Grow as we speak. It probably will be done in the next couple hours. The author is a guest author. Be honest, she's been on my show here before. She wrote it. One of the things that it's just mind-boggling to me. Your odds of getting accepted by an Ivy League college are greater than your prospects of landing a job right now, which to me, just that's mind boggling. It is really, really, really hard to get accepted to an Ivy League school. Really hard. But it's even harder right now to land a job. So there's some things that I'm trying to do to help people find the job. Now, look, I know a lot of people, too many people, honestly, are spending way too much time on job boards, way too much time submitting resumes to job boards that they have zero shot of really landing a job because of the way that they're approaching it. I can teach you how to get a job on a job board if you're qualified, but you're going to have to change the way you do things, right? And it's really hard for people to understand. It's like the people who don't understand the value of networking. Why do I want to build my social media network? If you ask me that question, I know you're so far deficient in your understanding of how the things work. It's really hard for me to explain it to you logically, because who you know is always important now, especially now, because you have so much competition. I'm going to do some nerd speak for you real quick, okay? Just to give you an idea of volumes. Before, now this is United States numbers now, not global numbers, okay? But in full disclosure, I live in the United States. I live in California. So those are the numbers that I'm familiar with. So let me share with you what I know. The Department of Labor Statistics for unemployment rates prior to COVID-19, the pandemic breakout in the United States happened in April. That's where the numbers started to change and spike, if you will, okay? Before April, if you go and look at the 6 months consecutive before April, the numbers were somewhere between 3.3 and 3.7% month in and month out. There was a little bit ups, a little bit of downs, but basically the unemployment rate in the United States was 3.3 to 3.7, or if you want to average it out, 3.5%. Then what happened? We had the pandemic spike. The pandemic spike boomed up to 14.5%, which equated to about 40 million people. Okay? 40 million people were unemployed officially. That means they filed a claim for unemployment. That's what that really means, in case you're curious what that number represents. Okay. Now, every month since April, the number has actually come down. It's a stair step. It's climbed down. But the last month for August, the August numbers were 8.4%. So we were running 3.5 on average. Then we spiked at 14.5 and we're back down to 8.4. That's good progress. We're coming down. But what does that really mean? Well, if 14.5% equates to 40 million, you know what 8.4 equates to? About 22 million. That means in the United States alone, where you normally have a 3.5% unemployment rate, right? And that number would be somewhere about 3 or 4 million people, okay? You have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times the number of people that are looking for work. That means for every job you would hit the apply button for, If you're going to compete for a job, you've got 4, 5, or 6 times the number of folks that you're competing with. And it was really hard to find a job before the pandemic started. I don't know if you guys know this, but again, I'm going to throw some numbers out at you. The average search time for a job in the United States before the pandemic started was 6 to 7 months. Now, there's a few things that factor in there, and that's why it varies the type of work that you're doing, right? The industry that you do it for, the level of employee as far as, entry level versus senior management. There's a bunch of factors in there, but 6 to 7 months on average in the United States before it got harder. Now it's 4, 5, 6 times harder, right? I don't know, in all fairness, I haven't seen any data, any solid studies done on how long it's taking people to find a job now, but my presumption is it's a lot harder and a lot longer, because that's how life works, right? We don't get harder and make it, shorter searching. It's harder. So with more competition than ever, if your strategy is off, you're in serious, serious trouble. Why do I do this show? It's not because I need to be on camera. Look, I'm on camera every time I turn around. I don't need to be on camera all this time, but I really do want to help people. And the number one thing I have to get you to understand is that you're systematically making mistakes that are cutting your nose off and ruining your chance of landing a job. Even in the best case scenarios, 20% of the people that are finding work are finding it through a job board. 80% of the people are finding a job outside of a job board. Referrals, networking, social media networking. Now, do you understand why you're building your network? I've said a lot to help you understand that your system must be on point, or you are wasting your time. You might feel really good. Hey, I applied for 17 jobs today. Great, because you have 0% chance of hitting any one of those 17 jobs. And I will bet you any amount of money that you want to bet. If you're applying to more than 1 or 2 jobs a day, you are wasting your time. You might feel good, but you're wasting your time. Now, how should you spend your time? Great question. I have written an article on how you as a job seeker should spend your time from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. every single day, Monday through Friday. And then on Saturday and Sunday, I want you to take the time off. I want you to do things like, read a book, spend time with your family, take care of yourself, personal care. Because that's the other thing job seekers feel like so guilty and under the gun that they feel like they just have to work on this job search all the time. But then what's crazy is, and it is literally crazy, they're using such bad strategy that they're just spinning their wheels, and they're frustrated and they're mad at the whole world because nobody will hire them when they're perfect for the job. The problem is your technique is so bad, nobody will ever even see your application. You can get mad at the system the way it is, and I am too, but it doesn't change the system is what it is. And there are successful ways to navigate it. You can do this. I will teach you how 100% for free. You don't ever have to send me a single penny for my help. 100% free. But take advantage of the help I'm giving. Just because I'm not charging you money doesn't mean I shouldn't be. Because honestly, I'm going to tell you a secret. I should be charging you thousands of dollars for what I do. There are coaches out there who charge thousands of dollars, and they help their clients one at a time. And they get jobs. And they're not doing anything different than what I'm teaching. Not a dang thing. So take what I teach you for free, apply it, get the job, send me a thank you letter. That's all I want. I just want to know that it worked. And really, I want to know that it worked because I want to know that you're good. You're my network. I care about you. Yeah, so if you were in the running before, I mean, this is simple, and this is actually a good sales technique. So we have things what we call a tickler file, okay? And the tickler file is something like this, where you got close, but you didn't dance. And it could be, this happens as after sales follow-up too, because sometimes, you got like let's say somebody paid me to make a video for them 4 months ago. I might shoot them an email, follow-up email, and go, hey, just checking to see if you have any new projects that I could work on for you. Same thing here. It can be a phone call. My suggestion would be, how did they prefer to interact with you during the job search itself? So if they preferred an email, then I would go email. If they preferred a phone call, a simple phone call, right? And maybe even just if it was like a text to them saying, hey, do you have time? Do you have 5 minutes that we could, chit chat? I just want to catch up with you. Those people are people you shouldn't just abandon, because whoever they did hire may have already been replaced or is on their way out. So, instead of going through the whole hiring process again, they might go, hey, you know what? You are really close. We're actually in need. Let's just bring you on board. So it's a good thought that you have to follow up. How you follow up, my suggestion is their preferred method, because they're your audience, right? When I'm producing information, one of the things I try to think about is my audience's preference, which is why I'm always cognizant of the time zones, as an example. Okay. Can you assist me how to get telecoms job in Canada and New Zealand? Yeah, I can. Go to my website. I have several ideas for you, right? But I'm going to tell you that you need to pick more specifically than Canada or New Zealand. Okay. We've talked about this. I'm not going to go into this again, but you got to get out of dream mode and get into reality mode. Reality mode is Canada and New Zealand are 100% different. They're not even anywhere close to each other. They're very, very different. And New Zealand, by the way, has more than one city, and so does Canada. So learn the area, figure out where you actually really want to be based on reality, not just a dream, and then make a plan. I'll teach you how to make the plan on projecthelpyougrow.com. The number one thing I'm going to tell you is, once you pick the area, I want you to start making friends with people there via social media networking. I want you to join groups from that area and start getting to know more people. I want you to look for companies, multinational companies, wherever you are, Cephas, to have offices in the other spot, right? So let's say you picked Toronto, or you picked Ontario, or you picked, I don't even know a city name in New Zealand. Sorry, guys. I'm really that dumb. Okay. But a city, whatever city in New Zealand. Off the top of my head, I don't know. So I'm not going to pretend like I do. Okay, so here, but pick, right? And then pick a company. And then what you do is, when you get hired, not in the interview process, when you get hired, I want you to reach out to your HR team and go, look, I really have a strong desire to move in, fill in the city name now. Don't say Canada or New Zealand. I really would like to, work for this company, whatever company you just got hired for, in that country. Can I work towards that here? Now, you've been hired. You're already on the team. If they say, nope, we don't ever do that, you can quit your job, find another one, and do the same thing until you find one that says yes. Then you want to work there. You want to work hard. You want to do great. You want to start studying the language, if there's a language issue, all that stuff. And it might take you a couple of years, but I'm telling you, that's the most successful way to do it. Read the blog, watch the videos. I have several blogs and several podcasts on that topic on my website. Getting very few interviews in spite of a doc resume, right? That's just one part of it. That's okay. So if you're not getting interviews, there is an issue usually with the resume itself. And typically, if you're using doc, that's good, because that's one of the things I would have asked you. So you're using a Word doc format. Inside of that doc, do you have any hyperlinks, like your email address? Is that hyperlinked? If it is, you need to strip that out. So remove hyperlink. You want to make sure you don't have like the wrong types of fonts. You want only black writing, no columns, no vertical underlines, which is why we remove the hyperlink, and the color, frankly, because a lot of that times it changes it to blue. Nothing below a 10-point size font. You want to use like a Arial or a Romans or a Georgia font type. So I want you to make sure your font and your formatting is 100% ATS compliant. The other thing that you're likely not doing, because this is the number one mistake people are not doing correctly, they are not keyword infusing the resumes correctly, and or they're not including a keyword cover letter. Again, I address all these things for free on my website. You can read these articles, projecthelpyougrow.com. Go to the blog. I've got the last blog up right now is the cover letter strategy, so you can read that. I've got Keyword Ninjas, which is an article all about how to infuse your cover letter and your resume with keywords that teach you what it is and how to do it. And then if you read the article that I wrote called Winning the Interview, it's all about the ATS and your resume strategy so that you can get those interviews. Hopefully that helps. If not, ask me another question. Hello, Krista from Dallas. If you have any questions, I would love to answer them for you. And share Ira with your connections too. Yeah, thank you. I always appreciate that. I'm having a tough time right now with networking. I don't know what it is. The algorithm has changed, and that really hurts me. Kirsty Bonner was one of my best friends, and she supported every one of my posts, and so I benefited from her network, and I don't have that help anymore. So that hurts me, I'm sure. But anyways, I do what I do for free. A lot of people say they want to help job seekers, but you look at what they actually do, and they just do a lot of talking. It doesn't actually do any helping. I pay for and run Project Help You Grow all by itself. I do these shows. I write articles. They're real actionable information there. It's not just the copy and paste of somebody else's post that a lot of these guys are doing, right? They'll take somebody wrote a post somewhere along the way, and you see like all these influencers just copying and pasting. It's like, great, that made me feel good, I guess, but what did it actually teach me? And I don't do that. So I give you stuff that you can actually use, and then unfortunately people don't use it. But when they do, it works. I get a lot of thank you letters behind the scenes from people that put my strategies into place. Look, I'm a nerd. I tell everybody I'm a nerd. What does that mean? I do a lot of research, and when I learn stuff, I share it, and I share it for free, which is cool. And then you guys can take that information and use it how you will. But when you do it the way I teach you, it does help, I promise you. So sharing it with your network, I appreciate that for sure. Auckland, Wellington, Christchurch. Oh, these are towns in New Zealand. I should really know more about New Zealand. I actually have some friends there, so I'm a bad friend. Sorry about that. But thanks for helping. Auckland, there we go. So we got some people from New Zealand. I need to come visit there. In full disclosure, my wife and I were going to go to New Zealand? Yes, we were. We were going to go to New Zealand. We were going to go to a place though that was like a resort in that like the middle by a lake. And I thought, man, if I go to New Zealand, I want to be on the coast. So we didn't end up going. But then I think that trip got canceled anyways. Maybe it didn't. Maybe that was pre-pandemic. But anyways, we didn't go. We ended up going somewhere else instead, doing something else. Are these resume tips listed on your website? Yes, they are. In fact, let me pull up my website for you guys, since this is not supposed to be just a giant commercial for Project Help You Grow. It's never my intent with this stuff. So that's why I don't just start with Project Help You Grow on the screen. But a lot of the advice that you guys are asking me, there's a lot more detail in the blogs. I write these blogs personally. So what you want to do is you want to come right here to the blog page. And by the way, if you miss Kirsty Bonner, you can come here and catch some of her, I call them the best hits. She agreed to let me have her content on my website a couple of years ago. And because she used to post jobs, frankly, on my site. So if you're a candidate, you can actually create an account and boost your search engine optimization for your personal social media across the board. So your LinkedIn, if you've got like a career website built or whatever, all your social media channels, you can boost them by building a profile in here. But on here, I've got job listings. Now, again, I'm going to tell you the same thing I just said. 80% of people who find jobs do not find a job by using a job board. So if that's your number one source of job searching activity, you're wasting your time. I want you to come watch every one of these podcasts. I interview career experts, and it's all free. So you don't have to pay for any of it. Now, a lot of them are trying to get you to sign up for their website. You don't have to do that, though. You can get the information. I ask them the questions. They're good questions. Its answers will help you find a job. But the blog, if you have the patience to read, you get so much more. It's like reading the book instead of watching the movie, right? Watch the movie is okay, but read the book, you get way more. So come in. The cover letter strategies, keyword ninjas, fractional work. These are all articles that I've written. Power of the informational interviews. It's a technique that a lot of people aren't utilizing, but the people who are getting farther faster. Because not only do they give you advice on how they would go about getting a job, but also a lot of times they will become like a mentor to you, and they can start reaching out to their network, which is usually more established in that field, and start landing you some interviews because they've taken a personal interest now in you. And that's an amazing, amazing blessing. Remember, I was telling you about the time schedule? Come in here, the daily time planner for job seekers. I've laid it out, like how to spend your time. I'm actually going to click on this one. I want to show you guys, right? So start your day right, like get up and take care of yourself. You clock into work at 8 o'clock. We're going to subdivide your day into time blocks. So from 8 to 9:45, I want you to research your vertical market, your industry. What are you doing, right? Like the one guy said, I want to be a data scientist. So you're going to do research. What's going on? What are some of the emerging trends? What's the news? Who's hiring? Who's firing? How are they doing in the stock market? All those kinds of things. That's the research you're going to do from 8 to 9:45. And the reason why I want you to do that is because when you get that interview, you're going to have all this stuff fresh in your mind. You're not going to be, even though you've been maybe out of work for 7 months or a year, you're not going to be outdated. Your information is current. What's going on in your industry with the pandemic, because of the pandemic while you've been unemployed? Have things changed? Likely they have. So if you're doing your research, you'll be able to keep up with it. That's the idea. I give you breaks. So I give you a 15-minute break. Then from 10 to noon, I want you to look at these job listings, but I do not want you to apply. Don't ever apply from 10 to noon. You're just finding the ones that you like the most and saving those. From noon to 12:30, you're going to take lunch. You get a half hour. That's it. No slacker hour-long lunches here, okay? From 12:30 to 2 o'clock, I want you to get social. What does that mean? I want you to engage, make comments. I don't care about posts. Make comments on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, all of them. Visit them. Find people who have made good posts and make comments to increase your visibility and build your network. From 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., I'm going to have you look at those job listings that you've saved, right? You looked for job listings for 90 minutes earlier. Now you're going to come back and we're going to do in-depth research on those before we hit the submit button. And you go to this article, I'll teach you how to actually write. That was the question that you had asked. I'll teach you how to actually write that resume right here. ATS screening strategy, how to earn the interview, is the best article I've ever written. 100% the best article I've ever written, because I'll teach you how to get that interview. Okay. It's hard work. Sabrina's on here. She'll tell you. I'm not an easy taskmaster, but I'm a thorough taskmaster, and I'll teach you how to actually get the job. You're going to submit one job listing, maybe two at the most a day this way, but I'm going to tell you those are like sniper bullets, precision bullets that are aimed right at the dead center of the bullseye. We're not doing skeet shoot here where we're trying to do 50 or 100 a day. Again, that makes you feel good, but it doesn't actually work. Okay, from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock, we're going to end every day because you're probably a little bit burnt out at this point. We're going to do something different. We're going to work on your skills. I want to help you update your skills so that you are not only up to date with the industry, but you're also most up to date with all your certifications and anything new that's come out. Okay, and from 5 o'clock on to bedtime, we're not doing work. We're going to eat something healthy. We're going to do something physical. We're going to read something we enjoy. We're going to make sure our quality of life is good so we don't burn out. You give me 40 hours a week and I'll help you find a job so much faster than you'd find it on your own. Your head would spin. 100% your head will spin. Okay? Again, I'm not trying to brag. This is what I do. I'm good at this. Let me help you be good at it. Now, again, if you come back through, the other one that I really want you to read, if you're getting interviews but you're not getting hired, read this one. This will teach you how to interview better. But this is the one that you guys all need to read. How to earn the interview. These resume tips that you're asking for, they're right here. This is the picture. I know I still had hair. God bless it. I wish I still had hair. But I don't anymore, so it is what it is. You get the bald version of Ira now. But read this thing. File format. I teach you with the file formats. Okay? Artistic style, just get rid of it. Columns, get rid of them. The font sizes, never use anything smaller than a 10 point. Your type of font, you're going to use Arial, Georgia, Tahoma. I can't say that word, whatever that is, Veranda or New Times Roman. That's it. You're not going to use anything else. You're going to stick with standard section titles. You're not going to have any graphics. Misspelled words don't count at the ATS as far as keyword match. So make sure you're spell checking before you hit submit. Okay. Acronym definitions don't always make sense. So make sure that you put in, if you put in CPA, make sure you also put in certified public accountant, because believe it or not, most industries use similar acronyms, but the acronyms mean different things. You want to make sure that you're getting credit, again, for keyword matching for the actual phrases. Okay. I teach you about resume rankings and how it all works inside the ATS, so you don't have to guess anymore. Example of how words rank. I talk about knockout questions and what to do before you apply. I even teach you how to manually score your own resume. Some advice, some warnings, some interview prep, and some final thoughts. Okay. That's all there. Again, this is 100% free. No ads. Look, there's no ads. There's also no shopping cart. There's no place for you to make even a donation. No money ever. Nobody spends money on Project Help You Grow except for me. I fund it all. And I have one sponsor who gives me a monthly sponsorship check to help, which is amazing. And that's Pana Knows. Okay. But look at all the stuff that you can do. You can build a candidate profile so that you can boost your SEO on the internet, across the internet. If you hit Google search your name, the number one result that you typically will find is your LinkedIn profile. The number two result that you typically would find would be your Project Help You Grow profile. It's that powerful of a website. Okay. Now, some people like me, it's a little bit different. And what makes it different is I have a name, believe it or not, that I share with a famous, he's a basketball coach now, but he was in the NBA and he played in the NBA for years. So he gets national press like ESPN. They write articles about him. And so his name is above mine when you do the Ira Bowman search. But the fact is, because I've done what I've done, I'm actually on the first page now with him. And I'm usually in spot number 4 or 5, not 1 or 2 like you will be, unless you also share your name with somebody famous. So anyways, it helps with that. You can find the job listings, but do the other work first before you waste your time looking for jobs. Okay. Then podcasts are free, blog is free, all of this stuff. It's all free, including, guess what I started to do here? I've added this. So now look, if you are in India or Pakistan or any other place where it's really late right now, right? And you can't make it, I have started to load these. Now I've only got 6 of them on there and I'm behind a few I need to add, but you can come right here and you can watch any of them for free. Again, 100% free, no ads, nothing, right? Just go from one to the other. It's all good. So they're there. Anyhow, this is projecthelpyougrow.com. Okay. I'm going to go back to questions now. So if you have any more questions, we can address them as they come up. Okay, so all of that was to answer Sam's question. Are these resume tips listed on your website? Yes, they are. Okay. Do you think it's possible to cancel the immigration order? I actually don't know what that means. You're gonna have to explain a little bit more what you mean by that. So give me some more depth. I love Christy's post. I love Christy, right? But her name is Kirsty, not Christy. Kirsty Bonner. Really loved Kirsty's heart. She and I, we started out, I don't know if you guys know the story, but I had a larger network than she did. I had an established job site. She didn't. She was a recruiter in Switzerland at the time I met her, working for just a little niche recruiting firm in Switzerland. They didn't have a website. They needed a place to host their jobs. So she came to me and said, hey, can I host my jobs on Project Help You Grow? And I said, of course, that's what it's there for. So anyways, we became friends. And she then proceeded to pass me up on LinkedIn like a dirty shirt, which is awesome. And so she became much, much bigger than me. And she actually launched her own website much later, kirstybonner.com. She had launched that, and it's a partner on my page, and I'm a partner on her page. And she let me have, like I said, she let me post her content from LinkedIn on my website. It was the only place you could find Kirsty off of LinkedIn for over a year until she launched her own site. So, anyways, to say I miss her is an understatement. I really do. I miss her for a lot of reasons. She was my peer. She was somebody that I could bounce ideas off of, and vice versa. She was an accountability partner for me, and I was somebody that she leaned on when she was struggling. And the fact that she's gone, haven't even I haven't fully dealt with it. I don't know when I'll ever fully deal with it, but yeah, it's a tough deal for sure. But anyways, it is what it is. So I miss her for sure. Yep, they're all there. She knows. She was an intern for me. That's why she knows. Sabrina, thank you. You're welcome. Not easy, but it's worth it. It is definitely not easy. She will tell you. And I am a taskmaster. I expect a lot. I expect you to put in the work. But again, if you put in the work, it will. I'm glad I'm not job hunting right now. I don't know. I could help you find a job, Mr. Mike. Mr. Mike O'Connor, I could help you find a job. I don't know if I could help you pass the drug test, but I could help you get past the interview stage anyways. It is a process, and trust me, Sabrina, he knows. He and I talk all the time. Welcome from Dubai. Okay, so did I miss anyone's questions? Because I think I am caught up. And again, this is more normal for Mondays. Usually the audience is smaller. It looks like on LinkedIn we're carrying 12 people, which is fine. Like I said, it doesn't have to be a huge audience for this show. That's not why I do it. But I do want to help you. So what did I miss, or what did I not cover in depth? I know that there was a question about canceling the immigration order. I don't understand the question as phrased, so I don't even want to even take a stab at what it might mean. I will tell you that on Project Help You Grow, if you go there, let me show you. There's actually a podcast. I'll take you to a podcast. So hang on half a second while it spins. And here we go. Okay, now where I want to go, podcasts. Just scroll down. This one right here. I leave this in the #1 spot for a reason, guys. Find a Foreign Job with Juliana Rabi is probably my favorite podcast that I have done. In this interview with her, she gives, 100% rock solid information. Stuff that, seriously, you need if you're trying to get that job in Canada or New Zealand or whatever. She really does put the rubber where it meets the road. Now, you may not like what she says, but don't let your ears fool your mind, because what she's telling you is 100% accurate and actionable, so that you can there's an expression, do the needful. You really need to do the needful here, right? This work is work. It's not an easy pill. Like, we're not at Staples and there's an easy button. You can hit it. That was easy. Finding a job in a foreign country is probably the hardest type of job search there is. You have to be super serious about this. This can't be something that it's flippant. And I'm just, I'd really love to go freaking live somewhere else. And hey, you know what? I'd love to be 6'7" and in the NBA. Didn't happen. Ain't gonna happen. It's not reality for me. Right? So now with the pandemic, even before the pandemic, I'm going to tell you guys, my wife is on. Hey, good looking. How you doing? She's the only woman in the world I'm going to flirt with. By the way, if you guys are sending me flirty messages, dude, just stop it. I'm married with 8 kids. I'm not interested in whatever it is that you got. Go find somebody who might be interested. I am not. That's the only woman I want to flirt with right there. I want to kiss her face. And frankly, she wants to kiss my face. So we're happy. So leave us alone. But other than that, I want to tell you guys an analogy. My wife will get this. Okay. When my wife tells me to go to the store, which I hate, by the way, she'll tell you, I hate going to the store. But if I have to go to the store, let's say I need bread or milk or eggs or tomatoes or who the heck knows, my wife's making something. I want to eat it. So she's like, go to the store and get this so we can have it. All right, great. So I'm going to go to the store. I can't think of a time in my life. Now, I've been married for 20 years. I can't think of a time in my life that my wife made me go to some specialty store for an ingredient. Like, yeah, she's going to laugh because it's totally true, right? I don't even want to go to the store half a mile away. But I can't think of a time that can you, Alicia? Like, I can't think of a time where you've ever said, you know what, I need you to go. Like, even when it was Jungle Gyms, we used to live in this place with this awesome store called Jungle Gyms in Ohio. Anyways, but I can't remember a time even having to do that to go get the special ingredient. Like, it's usually something kind of generic. So why would I, if I could go to any store and pick up this ingredient from a corner store, from Safeway or an Albertsons or Kroger's or the Piggly Wiggly or whatever, whatever the store is called where you're from, right? Here it's Stater Brothers, I think. I don't know. Anyways, whatever. If I could go to any store, why would I drive past all these stores to go some long distance to get this same item? When you're job searching, it's kind of like that. So you say, okay, well, I want to work in Canada and I'm in India because I get that combination a lot. Okay. So I'm in India. I want to work in Canada. Not I want to work in Toronto or I want to work in fill in the blank Canadian town. They just want to live in Canada. Like they think that's the green grass on the other side of the hill. Okay. Let's say that they are I don't know which we pick on today. Let's say they're a graphic artist. Okay. I don't even know the grocery store name. That'll give you a clue right there. That'll give you a clue right there. Okay, but here's the deal. Follow the analogy now, job seekers. You are a graphic artist. You want to work in Toronto, Canada, let's say. And you didn't even get that specific, but I'm going to help you out. You need to get that specific, okay? Let's say that the job market in Toronto, Canada is ripe with graphic artists, people who are already there, legal, able to work, born and raised. That's where they're from. That's where they want to be. The market is full of affordable, qualified graphic artists. And you're in India and you're applying for jobs in Toronto, Canada, not just Canada, specific area. And you, for some reason, think that they're going to spend all that money to sponsor you and bring you in and take the added risk that comes with hiring somebody from a different culture for a few reasons. You may not fit in with their culture at the company. There might be language barriers and things like that. There also could be the fact that once you get to Canada, you realize that, hey, did you know what? It snows in Canada. It's kind of cold. And you didn't think about any of that because you just had fantasized about it in your mind, right? You had built this dream world in your mind that this is going to be wonderful. But reality is going to be different. And you might say, you know what? I don't really like it here in Canada. And now this company that spent all this money and hired me instead of any of the other people that were there locally, which isn't going to happen anyways. We'll get to that in a second. But now you want to go back to India because you hate it in Canada. Now, I'm not saying you would. I'm just saying that's possible. It's a risk. You understand? It's a calculated risk. So a company didn't go into business. They didn't start their company to hire people at all. That wasn't why they opened the business. They opened the business because they had an idea. They thought they could make money with it. That's why most businesses are opened, right? We start businesses not because, our dream is to hire people. It certainly isn't most people's dream to hire people from foreign countries and places they've never been or met, right? So you got to think about it from the point of view of the employer. So in this analogy, my wife says, Ira, go to the store and pick up, it doesn't matter, ground beef, chicken legs, some blue cheese dressing, which is, that always cracks me up. When my wife sends me for something I won't even eat because that stuff's awful. But anyways, whatever. I'll go get your blue cheese for you because I love you. Right? So, but I'm not going to go drive to Las Vegas, Nevada, which would take me 5 hours from my house, right, to pick up some blue cheese when I can go to the corner store and pick up some blue cheese, right, and be done with that task. So there's no practical advantage for them at all. They're not going to do it. That's what I want you guys to see. That's the whole drawn out analogy for you to explain why you're not getting those job interviews from Canada from Canada or New Zealand or wherever when you're from a foreign place. There are too many costs and too many risks that it just doesn't make sense for them to incur. Now, you could flip the script in the analogy if there was a specialized ingredient or all the local stores were out of that ingredient and you absolutely had to have it. Now, let's change the scenario in the grocery for a little bit, because again, my wife isn't going to send me to Las Vegas, Nevada to pick up an ingredient for a Monday through Sunday type of a meal. But maybe it's a special occasion like, Thanksgiving, Christmas, a 50th wedding anniversary, something like that. Then maybe we would special order that ingredient and have it shipped, because I'm still not driving to Las Vegas, Nevada. But I might, order it and have it shipped in. Like, for example, in our family, we really love Geta. And Geta is one of God's greatest creations of food. If you've never had it, check it out. It's a German dish, wonderful dish. But you have to have these things called pinhead oats. Pinhead oats is something most stores locally don't carry. Now, if we want to have Geta, we're going to have to special order those pinhead oats. Okay. Now, in the employment world, where this would work is I need that graphic artist. And the graphic artist now in my local market is either the labor pool is devoid of them, meaning they're hard to come by, or they're easy to come by, but the price point is too high. And maybe they need, $30 an hour, and I've only got budgeted 10 or whatever minimum wage is, because in some places that's below minimum wage. So now we've got a price point gap that we have to overcome. And one of the ways that we can sometimes overcome that is with immigration labor. Understand? That's the kind of scenario that you need to research. If you are fill in the blank, whatever job you do, and you want to work in a foreign field, if you don't care where you go, you just want to escape where you are. And that's the situation for a lot of people. I get it. You don't like where you are. I don't understand necessarily why, but I do get it. Then what you want to Google search is, where in the world is there a shortage of fill in the blank with what you're qualified to do? And that's where you want to do your homework. Now start researching the companies, start making friends with people there, and all those other things that I've taught you. And that analogy will help you get hired in that foreign country. That's another way to do this thing, right? If you don't want to go to work for a multinational company and work for a couple years where you are locally and then hope for a transfer, this is an alternative way to get out faster. But with the pandemic, remember, you've got much more increased competition. What does that do? It drives down labor rates. This is the economics, simple economics. When you have more supply and the demand is decreased, price fall. That's what happens in economic models. Okay, this again, it's super simple math, but some of you guys don't understand that. Like, oh, I'm going to get, all this money and they're going to put out all this stuff. And it's like, no, dude, they're really not, because that's not how the real world works. This is where I tell people you have to get out of fantasy land and get into the real world and then do the work. Okay. Hello, Nora. We've been talking about Canada in this little analogy of mine. Hope you're doing good. I want to know something about digital marketing. What do you want to know? I'm in digital marketing. Ask me the question. I still come back to this. My wife knows. She's like probably rolling in bed right now. She's in bed recovering from a concussion that she got. And she actually went to church yesterday, which I was proud, but that wore her down. She's down for the count again. So anyway, she's probably rolling in bed going, he doesn't even know is it Stater Brothers? It is Stater Brothers, right? Not Statler Brothers. I think it's Stater Brothers. Statler Brothers was a country group. That's why I messed it up. Anyways, she doesn't know Statler Brothers. Listening from Jamaica, welcome. Welcome. Do you have a job seeker question? Look, I've got 6 more minutes until this show is over. So if you have a job search question that I have not addressed to this point, or maybe you didn't hear the answer to, go ahead and ask them. It's free, guys. This is 100% free. And I'm looking through the questions. My wife and I were flirting with each other. Mike said he's glad he's not job hunting. This one, I don't know if you're still on, but this one I didn't answer. This is the only question I think that is unanswered so far. So again, if you have any questions that I didn't answer, it looks like I've answered them all. Then go ahead and let me know. We are getting very close to the end of the show. So again, this show is broadcast twice a week. I do it on Mondays and I do it on Saturdays, different times, different. They're independent shows, right? So if you catch Saturday, don't think that you don't need to watch on Monday if you have a question, because they are different questions and different answers. It's not like a rebroadcast of the same episode like I'm here now. In fact, I'll tell you, every single thing I do on social media, everywhere, it's always me. I don't automate anything. So if you see a comment or a post, I'm actually there at that moment doing that thing. I'm not a fan of automation. So anyways. Oops, Sam had a question at 41:47. Sam, I don't see it. So what was the question? Her name is Kirsty. Yep, we talked about that. Yeah, I don't see that question. What was the question? And why didn't it come through? I don't know. I asked twice. Tell me what the question is, because I didn't see it. Third time's a charm. I'm looking right now. Is this it right here? I don't know why I didn't see this. What's the best way to respond to behavior-related questions like, tell me about a time when you couldn't deliver on a project? Yeah, I hate those questions, honestly. But I will tell you that I have an answer for you on my website. It's called Carl. So Carl is actually something that was trademarked by Kirsty Bonner. So let's go to my website real quick. I have it up and I'm going to pull it up and I'm going to share it with you, because it is, in my opinion, the number one best way. Hang on a second, let me share my screen here. So it's the number one best way to answer this question. Where is it at here? Let me see. I apologize for the delay here. I don't have her stuff memorized. Okay, so, well, here's car. So maybe it's in here. I think she has the L in here. I'm going to turn this off for a second. You guys know what the question is, how to respond. Okay, so tell me about a time when you led a team or whatever, right? So the answer is here. So C for context, A for action, R for result. There we go. The L is there. And the L is super important. This is, right, for me, the number one thing, lesson learned. So go ahead and read this post. And I'll tell you what, because we're running short on time, I'm going to go ahead and post this in the comments so that you can link straight to it, not have to search for it. Okay. So yeah, star is another technique. Really, car and star are identical in the ways to answer it. I like the Carl personally better, so that's what I use. But I do hate those questions. And sometimes we're like, tell me a time that you failed. And it's like, well, you're assuming that I have failed, right? Because I don't consider them failures. Not everything turns out the way you wanted it to. Obviously, we're not perfect. But a lot of times, the lessons learned out of that, which is why I like the L's so much, flips the script. And it takes a negative and makes it a positive. And then from that point on, like a lot of the lessons that I'm teaching you are things that I've made mistakes with over the years, or they're mistakes that others I've interviewed have made. And we're applying these lessons learned moving forward so that you guys don't make the same mistakes and bang your head against the wall for unnecessarily, right? That's the whole point of Project Help You Grow. You could learn all this stuff on your own. I did all the research myself. You could do it. It is possible. But the fact is, most of you aren't. And I've already done the research. So if I can help share it with you, then I do. In fact, Kirsty and I used to do that all the time. We would talk about what's going on in the market and how people are doing things now, what's changed industries. We'd say, hey, I know this company's hiring, that company's hiring. We would have an open dialogue about these things, and then both of us would share it in our networks. And I miss that. I don't have a partner like that anymore. Not in that space. I don't have a peer like that. So that's one of the reasons why I miss her so much. And she worked really hard. I'm not going to say she worked as many hours as I do, but she worked a lot of freaking hours. She was always working, and I appreciated and respected her for that. I'm interviewed today, but I also hate behavior-based questions. Yeah, interviews suck. Make sure you got to do it, because that's how you're going to get the job. Make sure that you read, if you haven't already, my article called Winning the Interview. That is the single best interview prep guide that I think you will find. And again, it's 100% free, so it doesn't even cost you anything, just the time to read it. But I'll teach you. Yeah, you're welcome, Sam. I'm sorry I missed the question. I don't know what happened. So I think sometimes when I'm scrolling through these, I'm just reading them on StreamYard. And I think sometimes they don't actually come through. So you guys see them on whatever platform you're on. But I simulcast this live on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And most of you for this show are following me on LinkedIn. But I'm not actually on LinkedIn at the time I'm broadcasting. So that could be what was going on there, but I apologize. I don't ever intend to miss these questions. So like if you've asked me a question and a couple minutes gone by, especially if I say, hey, is there any other questions? Go ahead and feel free to ask it again. And usually some of my friends like Sabrina will tell me if I've missed it. So I appreciate her. And let's see. Are there any other questions? We are now just over the hour. So if there aren't any questions, look, if you've been waiting all this time, and I haven't answered your question, I want to answer it before we go. But otherwise, we're going to cut this out. Remember, tomorrow at 3 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. So you have to time adjust for wherever you are. Like, for example, right now, it's 1:05. So 2 hours later than it is right now, we'll start tomorrow with speed networking with Mike and Ira. That is probably the most fun networking event I'm involved with at all. It's a lot of fun. I give everybody 30-second introduction time. So you get to get on stage and just for 30 seconds, tell us if you're a job seeker or a small business owner or whatever you're doing. You get to make that little spiel and introduce yourself. And then we do 5 minutes at these tables, and then we switch tables. But we get to talk to everybody in the room, and we do that every Tuesday. It's a lot of fun. Again, it's free, so you don't have to spend any money. But it's a video-based networking, so it's kind of like you're at a table with somebody, but you don't have to worry about getting COVID-19 because we're all on videos. It's on a platform called Remo. It is the most fun. The networking is the most fun because it's like you're actually sitting at a table with somebody, and you get to talk to them instead of being like in a Zoom. Sorry for hitting the mic. When you're in a Zoom room and nobody can really get that one-on-one dialogue. This allows you to sit at a table with 5 other people at one given time for 5 minutes at a time and get to know more about them. You can exchange LinkedIn information and all that stuff. And, by the end, you really get a good sense of who people are because you probably talked to them 2 or 3 times. We do the whole thing takes 2.5 hours, but people come and people go, you don't have to stay the whole time. But anyways, it's a weekly thing. So that starts tomorrow, 3 p.m. my time, 6 p.m. Eastern. And then on Wednesdays, I have something really early for us. It's at 6 a.m. Pacific time. I drink my coffee with my friend Joe Stepke, and that's now on a weekly basis at 6 a.m. And that's called Wednesday Cup of Joe. So there's that. And then on Thursday, I do something called a roundtable with Exit Your Way. And we do that from 7:30 my time to about 9:30. So it's a 2-hour window. And we have a presentation and a panel, but then we also do more in the networking. So that's early. Fridays, we do Follow Me Live in the morning at 9 a.m. Pacific. And then we follow that up with Follow Me Friday, which is the #1 networking event on LinkedIn week in and week out. You can meet a lot of people, make connections that way. And then Saturday, again, we do this show, Ask Ira Job Seekers Q&A. And that starts at 9 a.m. Pacific time as well, so that the people in India and Dubai and all these places where it's really late or early in the morning now, they can join in on the fun. For my folks in Australia and New Zealand, that time is a little bit early because now that's at 6 a.m. So it's a little bit early to get up on a Saturday. I totally understand. But again, I have Ask Ira episodes on Project Help You Grow. You can go and visit those. In fact, I'll be adding 3 or 4 more episodes to that collection today. You can always follow me on or subscribe to my channel on YouTube, and all the videos are there. My other websites, I have 3 websites. So I have projecthelpyougrow.com, irabowman.com, which is easy because it's just my name, and then Bowman Digital Media, which is how I actually earn my living. So if you want to help me there, I would really appreciate it. We do all kinds of visual media communications for small and medium-sized business owners. Basically, I'm trying to help people improve their sales quickly by design. So video editing, website editing, social media marketing, social media management. You need a new logo. You want to improve your advertising, branding, marketing materials, sales materials. That's what we do. We create it for you and help you implement it and manage it if you'd like. BowmanDigitalMedia.com is that. My name is Ira Bowman. It looks like I've answered all the questions. Did you get your answer? I don't know. Did you? Because I talked about it for about 20 minutes. So just rewind the tape. Age factor and gap and employment related concepts, please. Yep. Go to my website, projecthelpyougrow.com. I've got a bunch of stuff on that. Ageism. The number one thing I'm going to tell you about that, and I can tell you guys this real quick. I strip out everything from a resume that has dates on it that are 10 years or older. That actually is a lesson that I learned from Kirsty Bonner too. So I'll give her credit where credit is due. If you need the template for that, I'll give it to you for free. Send me a DM on LinkedIn and ask me for my resume template, and I will send it to you in a Word doc for free. Can't beat that price with a stick, right? And no strings attached, by the way. So I think that's everything. I'm going to turn on the music and boogie, boogie, boogie. Let's see here. I think I am. Yep. There we go. I'll see you all tomorrow. Speed networking with Mike and Ira, 3 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. That's free. You can search Speed Networking with Mike and Ira events on LinkedIn, and there's a LinkedIn page. I will see y'all later. And I still can't dance. But I like to. And I have bad breath. Ooh.